So we're going to talk about Smart Notebook and Smartboard. It's just a little introduction. So the first thing that you want to do when you work with the Smartboard is to orient the board. So there's two buttons on the Smartboard. One has a keyboard and one has a little mouse next to it. You want to hit them both at the same time to get the orientation up. So you just want to hit in the plus sign for each of the targets to orient the board so that when you're writing on the board, you know it's writing where you're pointing and not somewhere else. So for the Smartboard, what's great is the pens aren't necessary to write. It's just controlled, so when you pick it up, you can write with your finger or with the pen. It's not linked, so you don't need the pen to write, but you can use it. And that's just a regular pen. There's also like fun pens, which are better for like little kids. So you can pick a color and write. So that's a normal pen. So in addition to the regular pen, there's a shape recognition pen. So when you pick up the pen, you want to hit the pen with the square next to it. So when you draw your shapes, if you draw a circle, it'll fix it for you, make it better, like a square. It'll make the lines straight and the corners all even and everything. So there's that pen, and then there's also a magic pen. So the magic pen, when you write with it, it'll disappear after a few seconds. And then something else the magic pen does is it will highlight a certain section. So if you draw a circle around something with the magic pen, it'll zoom in on that and then you can move this. Or if you draw a square around something, you can magnify something that you want to focus on. So that's something cool with the magic pen. You can use this for like DBQs, so if you cover certain spots of a picture with boxes, you can use the magic pen to magnify a certain section or highlight it, but then that's something cool you can do. So in addition to using shapes to cover a part of the screen, you can also use the screen shade, which is right here. So you hit the button that looks like a shade, and you can use that to cover certain things, and it works both ways. So if you want to hide 2 + 2 = 4, then you can move it down or get rid of it. So that's just a screen shade. You can also use shapes, like I said earlier, to cover certain things. You just drag shapes. You would do that by making a shape. You go up to the square or circle, just make a shape, and then you can fill it in by going to fill effects and just picking color so that you can use to hide things. You can also use SmartBook to record on a page, so if you're going to be absent or you wanted to solve an equation, you can go to the page recorder, which is in the you can go to the recorder, which is right here. You hit the 4th button and page recording, so then you click start recording. So if you want to solve an equation, you can do like x² + 4 = 0, x² - 4, x = √4. And then you click stop. And then you just play it back. So that's something cool that you can do in Smart Notebook. And then you can also record out of Smart Notebook, like directions on how to do things by going to the tools and using the recorder. So that just imports like a video would into Smart Notebook file. You can copy into Smart Notebook like you would in a normal document. What you would do is you would open the internet, and then to get the keyboard up, you hit the keyboard button. And then go to images. Then if we want to use this picture, to right click, like you would copy and paste, you hit the 2nd button underneath the keyboard that we just used, which is the right click. So that lasts for like 1 click. So you hit the right click button and then you click on something, you can copy and then you just go back to Smart Notebook, right click again, and paste. So you can do that, or what you can do is you can use another Smart Notebook tool, which you can like kind of take a picture of the screen. So that's in back where the other recorder was. You go to Smart Tools, other Smart Tools, and then you go to Screen Capture Toolbar. So the first one will take a square of whatever you want to take the picture of, and that'll bring it into Notebook for you. The second one, the first picture, that takes a square. The second picture takes part of the page, and then the third takes a whole page, and then the fourth button takes like a section. It doesn't have to be a square, you can take a circle. So that's the circle, that's the square, and then you can do part of the page or the whole page also with the second and third buttons. Something else that's kind of cool with Smart Notebook is infinite cloners. So if you want to move these, what you can do is turn them into infinite cloners. So if you want them to make like 40 cents, you hit the arrow and go to infinite cloner, and then you can just drag as many as you want. And that'll just keep going. But if you don't make it an infinite cloner, it won't do that. So you have to make sure you can make it an infinite cloner, and then you can undo that also. In the lesson activity toolkit and the gallery, there's background. So that's the second tab on the right, on the left. There's gallery essentials, lesson activity toolkit. If you have an older computer or you don't want to waste a lot of space, you don't have to download everything. When you download Smart Notebook, you can just pick what you need. So it comes with everything, but you don't need everything. So you can go to, in the Gallery Essentials, there's backgrounds and themes, and that's what these are. So these are just different backgrounds and themes that they have. There's like writing paper, there's calendars, graph paper. You can do a storyboard. So this is just a background, and then there's like stuff on top of it, so you can move them around. There's also images, like a clip art gallery. So if you're going to use those, some of them have noise and sounds. So like you can just you just click the button in the corner and it'll make the noise. In addition to like instruments and everything, there's letters. So if you have little kids and you're trying to get letters, you can put in a letter and it'll say like the letter A or B. There's also maps for backgrounds. And then there's different timers. So if you want to give them like 2 minutes to work on something in class, you can just start the timer at 2 minutes, and then at the end it'll make a noise. These are just all different examples of different timers. There's interactive dice and different things that you can do. These are all in the toolkit. There's a ruler. When you drag, measure something, you can put it out so that it appears on the screen. This is just another timer. It's for 10 seconds. At the end, it makes a noise. This is an activity that's in the gallery. It's just balloon pop. So what you can do is you can use this and then you can edit them. So there's directions on how to edit them in there. When you pull it into the notebook, it gives you an edit option. So jump is the verb. Apple is not, so there's an X. These are ways to hide text. So like we hit something with the shape before, you can hide text in different ways, like with the shape, or you can erase notes. So if you color over what you typed with the same color as the background, it'll hide it, and then you can just erase it to reveal your notes. This one, same thing, the text is the same color as the background, so when you drag it down to the other color, you can read it. But when it's on the top, you can't read it because it's the same color. And the edit options, there's a video also to show you. Magnifying glass is the same idea, with the color is the same. It's the background, and then when you put the blue over it, you can see it. This is another activity. Like I said, the edit, you can go in and change everything, and then when you click on them, it pops up and shows you what happened when, so you can have people guess. This is a vortex, which is also in the activity toolkit in the gallery. So you just drag, and if it's right, it accepts it. If it's wrong, it spits it back out, makes you try again. So you can just keep dragging and dropping until they're all gone. And if you're wrong, it spits it back out. So that's it. Thank you.